Thank you very much, sir. And now we will call on a specialist on stem cell. He's a stem cell champion of the Philippines. We will discuss with you some updates on stem cell research and probably some issues behind it. We will now call on Dr. Bernal.
Thank you for inviting me to address this audience. Instead of a stem cell program, we would describe ourselves as being a regenerative medicine program because it is a lot broader than stem cells. Stem cells is just one component of it. But in terms of the world, I belong to two international associations. The International Society of Stem Cell Researchers, composed mainly of PhDs, and the International Society of Cell Therapists, which is mainly composed of MDs. But what is the competitive advantage of the Philippines? I can summarize it with one word. It's personalization. And there are three levels of personalization that I believe is a major strength for the Philippines to be competitive in the world stage. Number one is at the molecular level, the scientific level. Number two is at the clinical approach level. And number three is in the lifestyle and enjoyment or delightful experience level. Let me go back to number one. Talking about the reverse brain drain, one of our goals in working with the Department of Science and Technology, the various universities here, and even at the level of the secondary schools, is to reverse the brain drain, not just of our physicians and nurses and physical therapists, but also our chemists, molecular biologists, physicists, mathematicians involved in biostatistics. This is why in Ateneo, I mainly teach in the Department of Chemistry. In UST, I teach biochemistry because it is the root of our competitive advantage. How does scientific molecular analysis lead to personalization? We are realizing, or somewhat late, that there are no two individuals who are ever the same. So the uniqueness of that individual is at the molecular level will determine how it is that they respond to treatment, how their course of illness or wellness would be determined. That is not a surprise because we realize that each of us is unique and we have our own unique personalities, but we are realizing with very scientific tools that at the molecular level we are unique, which means that we need all of these technical tools at our disposal in order to have the best approach to the second level now, which is at the clinical level. Part of the defect in the American, in actually the Western approaches to medical care is this population-based statistics that hides itself under the term evidence-based medicine. It should not be called evidence-based medicine. It should be called population-based statistical medicine, where people all with diabetes are lumped into one category as if they have the same disease. There are no two diabetics with the same disease. Lumping together patients with breast cancer as if it was all one category and developing manuals of care for patients with breast cancer is doomed to fail, because unless you reach at the mechanisms of disease at the molecular level, you actually are not treating that patient in the appropriate way. So now at the clinical level, it is the personalization in developing the unique approach to each patient that provides a scientific, clinical, and even now to the third category, a lifestyle approach to each patient. That lifestyle also means that even when we talk to patients, when we determine what it is that the approach to their care ought to be managed, we have to deal with the individual personality of that patient, the cultural background, their goals in life. All of these are important. So we cannot just keep injecting things to people. It has to do with their own goals and what they want to do, even at the retirement phase, of what they want, or they consider to be something that they would enjoy or they would get delight from. all of these efforts, the scientific, the clinical, and the lifestyle, are extremely labor intensive. But it's much more than that. It requires an attitude of caring and spending the time with that individual and analyzing, looking at the ways to be able to improve that individual's function that provides the Philippines a big competitive advantage. So I'm very happy to use our international cooperation to be able to maximize all the efforts in the Philippines. I am based actually now in Europe, mainly in Eastern Europe. I spent a major part of my time in the US and in Canada, but the information from all over the world would be useful for us to keep our standards of personalization at the internationally competitive level. Thank you.